everyone.
Hey everyone.
Thanks for joining us again. Today's topic is going to be kind of all over the place a little bit, sort of. It's going to hit on kind of the non-negotiables for our relationship when we first started dating and talking about marriage, and aggression, anger, emotions, that kind of stuff. So we'll start with the non-negotiables. When we first got together, we started to, actually, probably after we were together for a little bit. It wasn't like one of the first topics, but I was very clear at the beginning that two of the things that I would leave him for, no matter how much I loved him, would be if he cheated on me or if he got abusive in a physical manner, hit me or one of the kids at that time, future kids. We didn't have any together to start. But so I was very clear in that sense because it was important to me. I wouldn't want either of those things in our relationship. The cheating part of it is more of a trust issue. And I know that for me personally, I wouldn't be able to trust anything he did if I found out that he cheated on me. So that would fall into the rest of our relationship. And the abusive is just no. If it happens, no matter how much I love you, whatever's going on with the kids, I'm going to take them and we're going to go somewhere and be away from it.
Yeah, that has no place. Doesn't matter, in my opinion. Vet issues doesn't matter. That's not acceptable to me.
No, and to be clear, he, with being the vet, like, he does have, I wouldn't necessarily call them anger issues, but aggressive emotions. Is that a good way to? You still have tendencies to get heated, if you will, but we're very.
I'm careful.
He has to, he recognizes when there's something that's going on, and so we could talk a little bit about that because he still does have anger bubble up inside. I don't even know. I can't explain the feeling.
It's like a deep rage, kind of like a beast, not the sexy beast, but
I can't even with you right now.
A beast, kind of like keep it caged deep down, and I try and keep my cool, not to let myself delve into my rage, and just remove myself from certain situations or possible situations that would
continue.
That would create a situation where I would lose my cool. And if I do notice myself losing my cool, I usually try and remove myself from that situation. Take a breather, whatnot. Try and calm down, because it's very explosive anger. There's very short fuse.
And is it triggered? I mean, is it something that, like, this happened and then I got angry, or does it just come up out of nowhere?
Sometimes it comes up from nowhere. Sometimes you're just angry, and then you're angry that you're angry, and then you're angry because you don't know why you're angry. It's just a circle of anger.
Sounds like a horrible neighborhood to be in.
Yeah, it's not the greatest.
Yeah. So, we've had to develop this, though. I'm going to tell you a story. It was, 7 years ago now, 6.5, something like that. Our daughter was just over 1, maybe 2. Anyway, it was a while back. And he and I were having a conversation, and we don't tend to yell, argue. It's more talking louder, I guess. Um, he is very confrontational, likes the debate, likes to talk out feelings, not really feelings, but what you're thinking. Yeah.
I like to win.
You do like to win. And I'm very not like if somebody starts even hinting at possibility of confrontation, I remove myself. I will shut down. Don't want to even deal with it. So trying to deal with that has been difficult because my instinct is, no, that's fine, you're right, and walk away. And he knows when the you're right comes out.
I don't like that because I want the fight.
Well, you want to resolve it.
Well, yes.
Too.
But
and
I don't.
You want to be victorious.
Well, between us, it's not a victorious. It's more I want to get the issue out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to.
But you also do. I mean, at least at the beginning, you did want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we were getting heated, and I was getting to the point where I was almost done with the conversation, and he punched something. I don't remember. A table.
It's like a
little
end table type deal.
Kind of like something that would go by your couch, like not solid, but not like flimsy either. So he punches this thing, and I stopped, and I was like, not acceptable, right? Like, I'm at the point of I'm almost crying because of the conversation. Then he goes and punches something, and I'm like, no, this isn't going to happen. Like, our daughter's in the other room. I don't want her freaking out. So I grabbed her to go remove us from the situation. Like, she and I were going to leave because not that we were nervous or that I was nervous that he was going to come at us, but I didn't want her seeing him in this angry space that he was in. So he punched the thing. I picked her up, getting ready to walk out, and you tried to stop us, I think.
Yeah. Not physically.
No.
Just
by telling us to stop and don't leave.
To me, it was, I got more heated, that she reacted that way, which, I mean, understand the way she acted, or reacted, but I didn't feel that it needed to be taken that far, I guess you can say.
At the time,
yeah.
So I'm walking out the door. He's angry that I'm leaving, and he kicks a tin bucket.
Yeah, I did.
And it makes a loud noise.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Well, it was tin, so,
okay,
it was frightening-ish. So I was just bawling my eyes out. I went outside, sat in the car. I feel like we drove around the neighborhood. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we just sat in the car. We didn't go anywhere. We kind of just hung around, but I tried to give him that time to kind of cool off and myself the time to compose myself. And I don't think we've had an instance like that since. And eventually we worked through it. It took a couple days because we were both in an emotional state.
Yeah.
So yours was anger, mine was sadness.
Yeah, it's usually.
But one of the methods that we ended up adopting, if you will, was that anytime we did fight, like I would pull myself, like before we would even get to an actual point of fixing things, I would remove myself. I always felt like he wasn't listening to what I was going to say. I didn't have a chance. Even when I did say something, he was real quick to fight it, throw me down, basically. Not throw me down, but shoot my idea out or whatever it was. So I just learned to stop talking. And horrible, bad idea, because then we never solved anything, so the same things would keep coming up. So I got to a point one night where I was so frustrated because I had things I wanted to say, and I just felt like he wouldn't listen to anything that I had to say. So I emailed him, and it was like 12:30 at night, couldn't sleep, got everything out in an email, and the next morning when we were talking, he actually liked the idea of the email because it gave him a chance to read what I had to say and process it before reacting.
No one's talking over one
There's
another.
yeah. And he emailed me back. So in the morning, I had an email, you know, and that's kind of what we did. Only when things got heated. It wasn't for everyday things, but like, this is something that we can't talk about right now. And so then I would just write down all my feelings and we emailed back and forth. And that became our way to fix issues
Diffuse.
Or to have conversations that were difficult. Now, over time, it's gotten a lot easier. I stay in a lot longer for the fight. And he actually listens to me now. It just took a lot of time to kind of find our sweet spot. But that's where that is now. And as far as the anger issues, you still have them.
Yeah, they don't go away.
But the pills that were given to you by the VA help, right? Or no?
Yes.
The anger part? Is it with the anger part or?
They take enough edge off to where I don't have to put so much energy into keeping my emotions or my anger in check. So I can take that little bit of energy and focus it elsewhere on probably focusing on focusing.
Does that make sense? A little bit.
Yeah.
So then what would be your suggestion, like, for somebody else that's kind of, I mean, because obviously you know a lot of the guys that you served with, and it tends to be a normal emotion for you guys to get.
Yeah.
So what's like I mean, for somebody that's watching, like, if aggression is the first go-to, what's a way to kind of combat that?
Well, the first thing is to obviously, hopefully, whoever it is recognizes that they have deep-seated anger, explosive anger. So my advice is to just try to avoid situations you know could go south pretty quick. Drinking, obviously, I'm not saying to not drink, because that's just wrong. But control. It's all about control. You know, obviously don't drink as much, don't get drunk. You don't want to not be present per se, and be out in public at a bar or something. And if there's an argument or something going on and you're really heated, just remove yourself. To take a moment, you know, step away. There's you know, with kids and everything, parents, I'm sure you obviously know that there's a lot of frustration. And my advice is with that is what I do. I just, if I feel myself getting frustrated, I'll just take a moment, leave the room, and obviously you have to go back and deal with the situation. But that breath, that moment, keeps it from spilling out, from going explosive. Because to me, that's very important, because that's how your children, or my children in my case, will remember me. I don't want them to, I mean, I'm pretty sure when they're grown up, they're going to be like, yeah, my dad had issues, you know. But I don't want them to say or think, yeah, definitely anger was one of them. He was always angry, you know. I was afraid of him, because that, yeah, that would not be good. So yeah, just try and just think about what your actions could do. And that's why I usually don't go to bars anymore or anything like that. I usually try to avoid things like that because it's unpredictable, and it's not scary per se, but it's worrisome what uh, might happen should you lose control, and that's, I mean, we've all heard stories or no stories, so it's hard, but you just want to do whatever you can to avoid situations like that, and kind of keep it chill, you know.
So for those that like, because obviously the way that you were talking was your kids are a big reason that you're able to kind of separate yourself from yourself, sort of
Yeah.
like taking it out, and this isn't just about you now, it's about your children. So for those guys that don't have kids, like, what do you think that they need to focus on? Because I think that's a big help.
Another strategy I use, and I use it not just for anger, for lots of different things, is you just kind of cut the emotion cord and just become blank.
Well, that sounds horrible.
You check out mentally.
But that's not. I mean, that's not a permanent fix.
No, it's not a fix. It's something that I've done. It just gives me a chance to think.
Well, and I notice when you do that, and now I've gotten used to it. But it used to suck because he would pull himself away and sit at the computer at the gaming system, and just be emotionless, not really engaging. I'd ask questions, it'd be 1 or 2 word answers, and so it's hard from our standpoint, the wife or loved one, to really understand kind of what's going on, because it was seen to me basically as like you were shutting me out, but I mean technically you were shutting the world out. But now I know. We'll get into topics later that address this more often, but I know that when typically like on a day that's like a anniversary of someone's death or something, you get like that. And now we've gotten to the point where you'll tell me in the morning, you'll say, hey, so and so, or this is what's going on, and then the rest of the day you're just kind of
off.
Yeah, off is a good word. But I know that now, and so it's one of those, like, I know to stay a little bit closer to home. Typically I'm here if you need me. Usually don't like lean on me or don't want that extra attention necessarily, but I think it's just having the presence here. Maybe, I don't know if you need that. Hi, baby. Okay, I love you. Go play. So I think that communication, back to the same thing, like just being open, being communicative. We had to work through, all the different things. No, Tristan, stay here, baby. And tell each other kind of what was going on. Like, hey, this is what's happening today. I'm going to be out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be, basically. And now we've gotten to the point where we don't have to have the communication. It's just understood that, okay, that he's going to have a day today. I'm going to need to step it up, and I'm going to give, my full effort today, and then he can step it up on another day. Like, he needs this day to just be there and not really do anything. So
communication is key in most, if not all, issues.
But it's difficult.
Yeah.
It's really hard, and it's finding that sweet spot. Like I said, nobody emails each other. Like, what is that? That almost sounds like you basically cut off all kind of emotion attached to it. Like, oh, I'm going to email you. But for us, it worked because it got us through our conversations, let us talk about what we needed to without butting heads. And that was kind of our communication style.
To be clear, after the emails, we would talk about it.
Yeah. Well, when we were level-headed, like we were finally like, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Both sides, she knew where I was coming from. I knew where she was coming from, and then we were able to iron out the issue without being upset or heated or anything emotional. So overly emotional. So that's what worked for us. Those are my little things that I do for anger and things like that. So
yeah, it was a serious episode.
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully you guys found it helpful. We
Let us know.
try to be a little bit lighter with these things, but apparently today was like serious time.
Let us know in the comments if you have any questions or
anything you want us to address. I mean, even if you wanted to reach out to us personally, like we can give you, but just hit us up, like, leave us a comment, like, hey, I want to ask you something. We'll give you our email. You can email us. We use that for communication also.
It's the best kind.
So anyway, tune in for next week's episode. Thanks for joining us this week. We hope that it helped somebody. Let us know, like our videos.
Subscribe.
We want to keep on posting these. We hope that it reaches people.
Mm-hmm.
You're ridiculous. We hope that it reaches people that need to hear it. And it's not all, most of it's going to be vet centered, but some of it's going to be relationship centered, just how we get through things. So share, like, subscribe. Any kind of feedback that you can give us is fantastic. If you don't like it, that's fine. Let us know because we can change things. If you don't like this plain wall behind us, I'm sure eventually we can get something back there.
If you don't like me,
Happy fall.
I don't care.
He doesn't. And don't tell me if you don't like me. I might cry.
Yeah, seriously.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.